And good evening, everyone. This is Sandy Shellis. Hi, guys. Welcome to Environmental Coffee House. I have a pretty good show for you tonight. Um, yeah, I do. And it all started with anger. It all started with being pissed off at hearing about the drilling in the Gulf. And I had to decide, though, do I want to act emotionally or do I want to look at what's going on and present a show that's objective and not carry on and scream and be ridiculous, even though it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry about, well, all of it does. Drilling, mining, it all does. But it is the the environment we live in, we are part of. And I have a pretty packed bunch of stuff, and I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey. Um, this is not. I mean, this is objective. I'm not going to be one side, the other side. I really want to tell you how this has how this has unfolded. No, we're not supposed to chant fuck anybody right now. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Gonna get started. Hi, Veg. Let me say hi to people. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Chuck. Hi, Rich. Hi, Kim, the mod, the best mod in the entire planet. Karen Reese. Hi, Max. JF Sebastian and Gary Ballard. It's great to see you all. I hope that we get a whole lot more people coming in. And I really don't know why this is not showing up in your subscription feed, Veg, but Hunter. All right, so let me get started. And the journey was anger. I mean, I said it before, and then today I read David Sirota's article, and that's how it started. So let me get started first by giving you the 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 the, the words. He has the best words. Antonio Guterres. And what did he say? He said, if you talk about climate, it is the same. We are on the verge of the abyss. We are on the verge, guys. We are on the fucking verge. But how did we get started? How did I get started with this today? Well, it all started with this article. And Gizmodo actually took this article from, here it is, from David Sirota. And, I mean, no, not David Sirota. He tweeted it, but Walter Bragman wrote it. Sorry, Walter. Sorry, Walter. Of course, I know you're not watching. But Walter Bragman wrote it, and I want to go over it with you first because this is what started the anger. But then I decided, no, 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 I've got to look into. There's always more to a story. Always more to a story. I'm not trying to justify anything. I am not. So let's get started with this article. This Biden administration says IPCC does not present sufficient cause to end offshore drilling. Kind of, I mean, right away, I was elicited anger. That was it. I was mad. Okay. And it was originally posted in this Daily Poster, a grassroots funded investigative news journalist outlet. I think it's David Sirota's. Okay. So, I do think it's his. So, President Joe Biden had been touring climate ravaged areas of America, warning that climate change is a code red emergency for the planet. And yet his administration has continued to boost fossil fuel projects and is now preparing to vastly expand offshore drilling. The White House argues that a court order it opposes and is appealing requires federal officials to lease more than 78 million acres of the Gulf of Mexico for fossil fuel exploration. Exploring all over, let's just go in there and suck it all out. Environmental groups, however, assert that federal law gives the administration broad discretion over whether or not to hold such sales. In fact, Biden's officials have instead used that power to officially declare that the warnings in the recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report does not present sufficient cause to reevaluate the drilling plan. With the help of the nonprofit public interest organization Earth Justice, several environmental and Gulf groups have now launched a lawsuit against the administration to stop the Gulf's lease sale. The complaint argues that the environmental analysis behind the lease sale is based on outdated and arbitrary science in violation of federal law, because it's more than 5 years old, guys. But let me tell you, looks are deceiving sometimes. There's always a story behind a story. We've been very patient with this administration, says Hallie Templeton, Deputy Director for Friends of the Earth, one of the environmental groups involved in the litigation. And folks, let me tell you something. It is always litigation. Everything goes around is litigated. There are more lawyers in this country. Well, probably there's a lot of lawyers. I didn't look up the statistics, but that's what this all is about. Litigation. So this is she's the legal director for Friends of the Earth, one of the environmental groups involved in the litigation. The honeymoon's over. It's now September. They've been in office for 8 months. It's time to show. They've got to show that they have priorities and are meaningfully going to move in the right direction. Well, undercutting the message. As Biden last week sounded the climate alarm during a tour of East Coast locales slammed by Hurricane Ida, his own administration was undercutting the message, moving forward with a fossil fuel lease sale in the Gulf of Mexico that began under Donald Trump's presidency. Oh, yeah, Donald Trump's presidency. That's great. Announcement of the lease sale for more drilling arrived on the heels of a sobering new report from the IPCC, which warned of catastrophic weather-related consequences should the world's powers not radically decarbonize. The report pinned the blame for the crisis squarely on human activity, such as fossil fuel extraction. The UN's meteorological organization also recently released a study indicating that weather-related natural disasters have increased 5-fold over 4 decades. And I'm sure we have all seen that, right? Have we not? I've got to move a screen. Give me 1 second. Something's really annoying. Okay. So, yeah, we've all seen that, and we've all lived through it, all of us that are here. So let's go back. At the press conference this week, Biden once again acknowledged the cost of climate change, calling for America to get real about the problem. At a press conference this week, extreme weather cost America last year $99 billion, and it's going to break the record this year. It's going to be well over $100 billion. So billions of dollars are at stake. Back in January, a week after taking office, Biden issued an executive order pausing new oil and natural gas leases on public lands or in offshore waters, pending completion of a comprehensive review and reconsideration of federal oil and gas permitting and leasing practices. As part of his order, the Secretary of the Interior Department was directed to review existing permits for fossil fuel extraction. Not long after that order, the administration announced it was canceling planned lease sales of 78.2 million acres in the Gulf of Mexico before the bidding process was set to begin in March. The administration also canceled the public comment period. That was set to lead up to the lease sales of 1 million acres in Alaska's Cook Inlet. And you know the public comment periods. I am one of those people that goes on the Federal Register and I comment. I'm a geek. I've commented. I always have on all kinds of things. Even in my career, I did. So public comment is a good place, and they do read them. They take them into consideration. All these agencies that put up things in the Federal Register for comment, they do. They really do. But this one was canceled. So later, the Interior Department under Deb Haaland also canceled lease sales on public lands in Colorado, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. Now, this order was an effort to make good on a forceful campaign promise that Biden had made to end drilling on federal land, which is responsible for about a quarter of U.S. carbon emissions. In response to Biden's order, 13 Republican states, oh God, can you imagine? You know, who are they, right? Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. They sued the administration to restart the leasing program in the Gulf of Mexico, Alaska, and the western states. Of course they did! Wyoming also sued in a separate suit. The state attorneys general involved in the suit were all members of the fossil fuel funded Republican Attorney Generals Association. God, would you want to be in a room with them? They have got to be the most despicable, disgusting crowd ever. I wouldn't want to be in a room with them. Yuck. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall is the association policies chairman. In June, a Trump-appointed federal judge in Louisiana, Terry Doughty, granted the 13 states a nationwide preliminary injunction against Biden's moratorium, directing the leasing program be resumed. Doughty ordered that the administration was specifically barred from implementing the pause with regards to lease sales in the Gulf and Alaska. Millions and probably billions of dollars are at stake, Doughty wrote. Well, following the ruling, Republican states involved in the lawsuit filed a motion to hold the Interior Department in contempt for refusing to follow the order. Oh my gosh. The motion sought to compel the department to hold the Gulf of Mexico lease sale. So in response, the administration filed notice that it was appealing the judge's order as well as a defiant brief challenging the Republican states' motion on the grounds that the court order did not compel the Interior to take the actions specified by the plaintiffs, let alone on the urgent timeline specified in the plaintiff's contempt motion. Nevertheless, on September 1st, days after filing the brief, only days, guys, just days after filing the brief, the White House posted a new record of decision online stating it would be moving forward with the Gulf of Mexico lease sale and saying the IPCC report would not change its environmental views on the plan. Now, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released that new report detailing the observations of a rapidly changing climate in every region globally, the decision said. This report does not present sufficient cause to supplement the environmental impact statement at this time. This one gets, I'll tell you, I don't know what it gets. This one gets this. Yeah. Okay. They're pandering to both sides. Environmental activists say the administration could be taking a tougher stand on drilling on public lands and offshore. If the administration is going to appeal that order, why not seek a stay to allow them to continue the pause while the appeal is going forward, Templeton says. It's really confusing what's going on here. It's likely, it's like they're pandering. Oh my God, pandering. They're pandering to both sides in a way. So even without such a stay, Brittany Hardy, the senior attorney at Earth Justice, says federal law grants the government discretion over whether or not to hold lease sales. Initially, the reason they gave when they canceled the lease sale is that there was a pause from the executive order, she says. So they can't decide to cancel the lease sale because of the pause, because the pause is no longer enforced right now. But they could cancel the lease sale for any number of other reasons, including the fact that they don't have adequate environmental analysis. Okay, see, I'll tell you what. This is environmental analysis right there. That's environmental analysis because this is what's happened after Ida. Excuse me. I need a drink. That's analysis enough for me, isn't it? Look at all that slick, disgusting oil. Yeah, okay. So, according to Hardy, the environmental impact statement required for the Gulf lease sale is now out of date because it was completed years ago, before recent advances in attribution science. Yes, attribution science that more closely linked human activity and extreme effects of climate change. Templeton says the administration's decision that the dire new IPCC report does not present sufficient cause to conduct a new environmental analysis. It doesn't make sense. Why rely on 5-year-old environmental analysis to continue this permitting when the law is clear that you've got to have an updated analysis and rely on the best available science, she says. We have science since 2016 showing that climate change is worse than ever, and our timeline is not a long one to reverse course. All right. So given that I have opened up with the Gizmodo article, which was actually from the Daily Poster. We're going to go now into floating around like the legal system and why these things happen and why nothing is ever just cut and dried. Why you cannot go on Twitter and just say, hey, Biden, you should do this now. It's never so simple. It's never simple. So the next article is how this all started. All right. It all started, and my eyes are watering tonight, guys, and I'm really sorry. I've had, I don't know, something. Not anything serious. Don't worry. All right. So it started with this. And it was, this was last year. Oil companies snag Gulf of Mexico waters for offshore drilling in the last bid before the Biden transition. So what they did, and I remember this. Don't you remember this? Oh my God. Do I have a cat in here? I might have a cat in here. Anyway, what they did was they sucked them all up. So they wanted to jump in before the window potentially closes, and there are more regulatory hurdles. This was a senior energy analyst for S&P Global Platts Analytics. The change in presidential administrations is one of the top things operators, the people that run these companies, they have in mind. So basically that's what happened. So there were 105 bids placed during the Wednesday auction, which was a recovery from March when only 84 were placed, but down 165 in August 2019. So the highest bids were placed by subsidiaries of European oil companies, the regular suspects, Royal Dutch Shell, Equinor, BP. Well, you get this, okay? So, but these, they did this. 79 million acres. That was during the Trump administration. You get the drill. I don't have to keep going on and on and on about it. But that's how it started, okay? And then we move on, and you get an idea from all these different venues and all these different outlets that I looked at to give the story, besides from the article that Walter wrote. And this was the AP. So why is Biden halting federal oil and gas sales? And there's Deborah Haaland, who is so much better than Scott Pruitt. Tell me she isn't. Oh my God. I don't care how fucked up things are. She's better than Scott Pruitt. And that other idiot, the one from Wyoming. I don't even remember his name. The one that was giving the farm away. Not the farm, the national monuments. Anyway, so he shut down. This AP goes into that the leasing ban is only temporary, though. And of course, he had so much sharp criticism from congressional Republicans and the oil industry. So that's why it was temporary. The officials, they declined to say how long it would last. And then AP goes on and talks about this, saying that it's really about money, and it's about the states, and it's about losing jobs, and it's about how $83 billion in revenue over the past decade. And people are afraid. They're afraid. How are they going to live? Guys, it's a huge industry. It's gigantic industry. So actually what they say is that half the money does go to the state. And this article had talked about the options of ban. What would the ban on leasing means? The drilling would fade out as existing ones expire, but it would be a heavy blow for those Western and Gulf states. And they could. Another option is to increase the royalty fees to reflect the social cost. Okay, the social cost of climate change, damage from rising seas, drought, wildfires, and other global warming impacts. That would keep revenue flowing and make it more expensive to drill on federal land, forcing companies to concentrate on the most profitable reserves and reducing emissions, though by less than a ban. And then they talk about the jobs. They go into the jobs. So the AP, they did a pretty good job of going through what's next. What is Deb Haaland going to do? And then I'm going to take you to the New York Times, because they then went talking about Alaska and how the administration defends huge Alaska oil drilling project, which now I do not think. This was from, what's the date in here? May 26th. Okay, see how things change so fast. This is in Nuxt, Alaska, which is a village near an oil drilling project that residents worry could affect caribou migration and air quality. You think? I think. So they were defending this. It was a huge Trump-era oil and gas project in the North Slope of Alaska, designed to produce more than 100,000 barrels a day for the next 30 years. Okay, guys, listen. The next 30 years, what do you think? That definitely gets the Environmental Coffee House flush of the day. The next 30 years. Okay, tell me that's not something that sounds like a dystopian novel. The multi-billion-dollar plan from ConocoPhillips to drill part of the National Petroleum Reserve was approved by Trump. I don't even want to say his name. Last year, environmental groups sued. Of course they did. They argued that the federal government failed to take into account the impact that drilling would have on fragile wildlife and that burning the oil would have on global warming. Of course, we all that. That's Project Willow. All right. That was Project Willow. So we're going to move along, and here's another article. Now, this one from June takes you to what happened, and it goes into a little, Hunter Orange Man bad. Federal judge blocks Biden's pause on new oil and gas leases. So it went through the media reporting what was going on with this. Now, this was New Orleans. The Biden administration's suspension of new oil and gas leases on federal land and water was blocked Tuesday by a federal judge in Louisiana who ordered that plans for the lease sales that were delayed for the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska waters and all eligible offshore properties. Now, that decision was a blow to Democratic President Joe Biden's efforts to rapidly transition the nation away from fossil fuels and away from fossil fuels rapidly, and thereby stave off the worst effects of climate change, including catastrophic droughts. Yeah, so that's what they wanted to do. This guy, his ruling came in a lawsuit filed in March by Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry and officials in 12 other states. Do I have to name those 12 states? No. So basically, it's been a fight either which way. I'm not absolving anybody. I'm just giving you the facts as you sign and as you look in the media as it went on. I don't have information on what goes on in those it used to be smoke-filled back rooms. I can't tell you who negotiates with who, but damn well there's lobbyists up the ass of every politician that sits at the Capitol building. Absolutely. Every single one. So, the judge's order turns a blind eye to runaway climate pollution, and that's devastating our planet, said Randy Spivak, Public Lands Program Director at the Center for Biological Diversity. We'll keep fighting against the fossil fuel industry and the politicians that are bought by them, and I don't need to go through the states again. But I do want to say one thing about the big greens, and everybody complains, the big greens, it's all about money, money, money. Well, I have something to ask you. How much do you think it costs them to pay these attorneys? They're not cheap. They don't do it because of their passion for the work. Some of them do, but they got to make a living, right? Okay, so the big greens, they're big like that for a reason. They fundraise the shit out of you, but they got to pay. If you're going to fight against corporate lawyers, government lawyers, Republican lawyers, you're going to fight against the world, it's going to cost. Everything, every single thing is about money, okay? Every single thing. So that was the AP article, and let's move on because the saga, it keeps going, and it keeps going to here where the Biden administration appeals federal court decision to block. So they appealed. This was August 16th. They appealed. And on Monday, they challenged the federal judge's decision in June to block the Interior Department's pause on oil and gas leasing on public lands and waters, a critical piece of its climate change policy. But they will proceed with leasing during the appeals process. The Interior Department aims to overturn the decision of Judge Terry Doughty, I named him before, from Louisiana, who was with the rest of those lovely states. Yes, they care about jobs. Yes, they care. What are they going to do? Well, if we lived in the kind of country that was smart, we would be able to supply these people with money to live on. Transition, education, not have to worry about them losing their jobs. No, we wouldn't have to worry about them losing their jobs. But it doesn't work like that here. No, they'll just lose their jobs. They'll lose their jobs and we'll see what happens next. Oh, did I get allergic to those damn cats? I don't know why my eyes are watering, guys. Must be the material. Oh my gosh. It's not making me cry, but I was angry. And so these states, they sought that court order from the judge to force Interior to hold an offshore lease sale this year. The American Petroleum Institute and 11 other industry groups sued the administration to force them to reinstate the lease sales, which had not resumed after the judge's decision in June. So the appeal of preliminary injunction, it's important and necessary. Together, federal onshore and offshore oil and gas leasing programs are responsible for significant greenhouse emissions and growing climate and community impacts, the Interior Department said in a statement. Okay? So, that's okay by me. I'm not gonna criticize Deb, she's got a hard job. Biden had paused the government's new leases in January as part of a sweeping plan to rein in fossil fuel extraction on federal land and combat the effects of climate change. Well, they said they will proceed with the new leases during the appeals process, consistent with the district court's injunction during the appeal, and will use the discretion provided under the law to conduct leasing in a manner that takes into account the program's many deficiencies. So let's move on, because she said that they will undertake a programmatic analysis to ensure that federal leasing meets Biden's targets of cutting greenhouse gas emissions in half by 2030. Again, okay, by 2030. Okay, let's do that by 2030. Okay. Yeah, what do you think? Anyway, they would release the notice of intent to review the federal coal leasing program later this week too, and that's a whole other part of the story, is coal. So then we go back. Now we've got an advocate. This is the advocate, and this is from Louisiana. And then the advocate, they also were talking about it. They are appealing the judge's ruling against oil leasing, but promises to resume actions because Louisiana makes a lot of money. A lot of money, and that's a lot of employment, even though they are the state is suffering from sea level rise, and it's going to have problems. They're going to have problems. So this is more of the same, but just a different audience, smaller paper, talking about the auction of the leases that were halted in March. But it, created uncertainty for one scheduled in November. In a statement on the appeal, the Department of Interior said it would continue onshore and offshore gas leasing as required. That's what, so this is what we're seeing. It was a fight. It's a fight. It's a constant fight. But I'm not defending, because there's probably a lot more the administration could do. And again, with the 12, they take the articles from each other. So where I'm going now is I'm going to show you the record of decision for the Gulf of Mexico Outer Continental Shelf oil and gas lease sale. I read this whole thing, and I understand the legalese of it after reading it twice. I had to read documents like this in my entire career, but they were just a little bit different. They were human resources documents, but you know what? Legalese is legalese, a lot of references. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you somewhere a little bit different. I'm going to take you to an industry trade magazine, offshore. And I will give you their encapsulated version of the decision, the record of decision to do this in the Gulf of Mexico. So they said the department, and when was this? September 1st. All right, so this was from September 1st. The Department of Interior says it will move forward with the process. Wow. For Gulf of Mexico, GOM, the GOM sale. Sale 257, consistent with the Secretary's authorities and discretion under the applicable law. As follow-up to the department's announcement of August 24th, BOEM had posted an updated record of decision, which I just showed you, and BOEM is the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, okay? And it selected alternative. There's i.e. alternative A for proposed LS 257, which is analyzed in the Gulf of Mexico OCS lease sale. Final supplemental environmental impact statement 2018. Well, if an environmental impact statement was published in 2018, it means that it is at least 2 years old. So everybody that is complaining about the age of the environmental impact statement is correct. Okay, is extremely correct. And they talk about the region-wide lease sale encompassing all three planning areas: Western Planning Area, Central Planning Area, and a small portion of the Eastern Planning Area not under congressional moratorium. So, as stated in the Department of Interior's announcement, BOEM expects a final notice of sale for LS 257 to publish in September, with a lease sale to follow in the fall of this year, which we are approaching. With mounting pressure on the Biden administration to schedule lease sales, the Department of Interior was forced to reverse course to defend against possible contempt of court charges and sanctions for noncompliance, said the former BSEE director Scott Angeli. I think it's Angeli. In an email to Offshore, Angeli also noted that the Department of Interior has not yet scheduled or indicated that they are performing any work towards holding Gulf of Mexico lease sales 259 and 261, which are part of that current 5-year plan. Well, the current plan is expiring next June. It's important for America that this administration develops the legally required 5-year plan in a timely fashion. These lease sales and the next 5-year plan hold the promise of more American environmentally advantaged production and more American jobs, more affordable energy for U.S. energy consumers, and more energy security for all Americans. So that's the decision in a nutshell from a trade magazine. Well, then Earth Justice gets involved, and Earth Justice, they got the lawyers too. So Earth Justice gets involved, and they filed their lawsuit, and this is from August, immediately following the Biden administration's decision to offer 80 million acres of the Gulf of Mexico for oil and gas leasing. Environmental and Gulf groups today, they filed the challenge to the lease sale. And they filed in the federal court in the District of Columbia on behalf of Healthy Gulf, Sierra Club, Friends of the Earth, and the Center for Biological Diversity. It was filed against Secretary of Interior Deb Haaland and the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management following the notice of lease sale 257. And I will tell you what, I would not want any job in politics. It is brutal. It is horrible. It is not easy. And if you have a little bit of ethics like she does, I'm sure she's not going to profit like all the rest of those hawks do. So, in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, it is clear that we need to be doing everything we can to transition away from fossil fuels to reduce the impacts of climate change, such as the stronger and more frequent hurricanes. So I'm not going to go through all this. You get the drill. They're going to sue. The background was the IPCC report and all of the mess that's going on, and even the mess that happened after Ida in the Gulf of Mexico. Drilling in the Gulf of Mexico is not advantageous, but it is advantageous to I guess right now, to how we live. It's advantageous to how we live because we still use fossil fuels. And I'm going to show you something about what we are up against, those of us who want to get rid of fossil fuels. Those of us think, and everybody knows, this is not easy. This is not easy at all. No. You see, look at this group. All right. This group is the Offshore magazine again. But they have so many articles on all of the different things that go on around the world. I mean, grants. Oh, and UK. The UK is also going after drilling. By the way, they're giving permits out also, and I mean this. Well, this publication deals with a lot of different things. They talk about investigations and what happens with all different things. But this is a huge, huge industry, guys. It's not going away overnight. I think of 2030. What is that? 9 years? 8.5 years. There's just been an authorization for a Njord startup offshore in mid-Norway. And Barents Sea, CO2 storage, that's a little different. But they have, oh, look at that. And here they have they have increased the Gulf of Mexico reserve estimates. Oh, let's look at this one real quick and see how, this was September 15th. This was just in September. So, let's bring this up. So these are the areas I was telling you about before. The central planning area and the eastern planning area, where the drilling is going to go on down there. That's, and see all the states around it. Every gas-sucking state. Yeah, so basically that's, that was showing that, and I lost the article. But you get the drill. You get the drill. We are not stopping. Oh yeah, I wanted to see that. So let's see in that. Anybody who thinks that we're stopping is crazy. But we still, action is the antidote to despair. And we're still going to do, we still have to get out there like Jim Henry says, and that's next week. And Dr. Kalmus says, let's see here, cumulative production from all field accounts. Okay, anybody understand these measurements? Certainly feel free to leave a comment. But there's a lot. They say they publish, and this is the government now, they publish estimates of undiscovered oil and gas resources. For the Gulf of Mexico, the Bureau's 2021 assessment includes a mean undiscovered, technically recoverable resource of 29.59 barrels, BBL, I don't know what it is, of oil and gas. So those are the gas and the oil measurements that they, and this is, the government telling the industries this. So how fast is anything going to stop? But what I was wanting to do with this show was talk about the fact that everything is very intricate. Nothing is easy. Anything, and this is not, I am not defending the administration. I am not tearing them a new asshole. I'm not anything other than telling you everything is a fight. Everything is lawyers. Everything is litigation. And the fossil fuel industry is a force to be reckoned with. And we all know this. Of course, green energy. Let's transition over to green energy. Yeah. And let's tear up the planet and mine the planet for lithium. So here, I have a decent comment. And I wanted to bring this screenshot in from Scott that I picked up. Scott, are you with us? Oh, trillion cubic feet. Gregory, I knew, it figures you're here and you know that. Gregory, you're brilliant. I really am so happy that you can do that. You're okay. So Scott, if you're here, I'm going to read this. It's kind of like a chicken and an egg situation. We desperately need to cut our consumption of fossil fuels. But if we cut supply before we cut consumption, that'll cause a whole new set of problems. True, we could ban fracking and ban all new U.S. drilling, but you know what would happen? We would just import more oil from Saudi Arabia and Russia. So you keep in mind our food supply and distribution. I see, Scott, you're in here. Yeah. Food supply, I gotta find it. Distribution is highly dependent on fossil fuels. Our best bet is to tackle this problem from the demand side. Okay? So there are no simple answers to this problem. I hate them, corrupt fossil fuel companies, as much as anyone. But I don't see any workable alternative that can be implemented quickly. And in the meantime, we are running out of time. Or more likely, we have ran out of time decades ago. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, guys. Yeah, there you go. The old Hambo and Littletail trope. So there was my presentation to go from the situation, the issue, from my anger, read to you how come I got angry, talk about the logistics of how these things work, the formidable opponent we are up against, and the lawyers involved. It is always going to be like this as long as until we go extinct. All right. I have a little treat to show you before we talk. I have a her name is Katie. She is KS when she's here. She just keeps sending me things. Well, first of all, she sent me this. This is really cute. She said this is to do in the wintertime when I have nothing to do, which actually is never my problem because I always have something to do. Okay, but that's cute, right? She's cute. She sends me this. And then, check this out. All right. Where am I going to wear this? To the grocery store? That one. I could wear that when I do a live stream with someone that lives over yonder. Okay. And then I have this one photographed, but this one I think you guys have seen. She's done a good job at these t-shirts, you know. But I don't wear t-shirts, not too much. Yeah, Gregory, you like the colors? Okay. And this one actually, I think I have this one in a picture. Yeah, there is no vaccine for the climate crisis. And she's a nurse. So there really isn't. And shit, no, I'm not talking about that. There is no vaccine for the climate crisis. So I've got some good shirts. I think if I was to go the 24th to any kind of outside march, I'll wear the red one. There's no vaccine for the climate crisis, and probably piss a bunch of people off. So how you doing out there? Okay, let's see. Larry says, chill, dog. I'm smoking, and I'm smoking a lot. You got that right. There's no solution except going back to pre-industrial age. Even that won't work. Well, we're always going to try. I'm sorry, but again, action is the antidote. And if we don't keep trying, we might think or feel that perhaps we lost a sliver of an opportunity. And that's not hopium. And I'm not being an apocalyptimist. Billy Joe, 40% of oil is used to make gasoline. The rest is to make the industrial chemicals and products needed for manufacturing and what we wear. Everything is some kind of synthetic shit. Everything. My whole entire freaking life. Yes. And yes, I'm not going to say the Republicans are our best chance. Oh my God, don't get me started. Don't get me started. There's some excellent progressives. In fact, today, one of the candidates for governor in Florida was on Nicole's show, Nicole Sandler's show. And Nikki Fried is big in the cannabis industry, and she ran for Department of Agriculture. She runs the Department of Agriculture in Florida, and she's running in the Democratic primary against Charlie Crist. He's already been governor. Move over, Crist. Give somebody else a chance. She will divest of any investment she has. She said it right on the show. She will divest. And hi, Dawn O'Leary. Welcome. Yes, she will divest. Nice to see you, hon. But there's some. So maybe that's in the short term, within the 30-year frame. The 30-year frame that makes me laugh based on all of the climate science we see. And guys, don't forget, if you're new here, which it doesn't look like anybody is, subscribe, please. I need subscribers. It would help. I don't understand YouTube. I don't understand anything. I just know that there's a lot out there. And since the pandemic, man, we took a hit and we were chugging along. And I have theories about things, and I'm not going to go into that, but wait, or was it despair is the antidote to action? Oh, stop. Despair is the antidote. God. Oh, guys, you are something else. You are. I love you all. I also don't want you to forget. Hey, listen, I think we're going to do a fundraiser, maybe, for Kim to get a computer. Our wonderful moderator needs a computer. And I think we're going to do something in the old days of yore when I could afford it. I would have just sent her one. And I can't do it. Yes, Veg, it's disgusting. They're being whipped by Border Patrol in Texas. 150,000 is a small number compared to how many will be coming from around the planet. That just watching that or seeing that on the news was horribly, heinously horrible. Oh, yes. And globally, another 356,000 energy vampires were born today. That's a good one. That's a good one. But then we had a lot of deaths, or the deaths are growing too. So I think it's in I think Alabama it was. They had more deaths than births last year in 2020. What do you mean you won't accept it? Why? You do a lot for this channel. All right. Well, she's too proud. But when somebody does something, I never asked for a thing forever, and you know damn well I ran this channel for 5 years until my personal life and financial life changed. But it's not like I'm asking to make Kim, we want to help you get a computer. Hey, hi, yeah, Vanessa Kitty, welcome. Well, of course your solar panels are helping because you're probably not burning, your electricity is not burning carbon, and that does feel good. It feels good where I live because we are carbon free here, and I've said it a million times. So it does feel good. It may not do a fucking thing, but it feels good, so do it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely do it. So, guys, I have been on almost an hour, and let's take a few more comments. If I start broadcasting from the outhouse, you're gone. Don't worry, sweetheart. That won't happen. It's not going to happen. Let's see, guys. John, only 2% of a barrel of oil goes to petrochemicals, aviation fuel, petrol, gasoline, diesel, natural gas, liquids, and bituminous oil make up the rest. Yeah. Oh, Lordy. Look around your house. Most everything you have is oil-based. Yeah, it really is. I don't know what's going to happen, but we just have to live. I keep myself so busy that I don't have to feel. As 10 minutes before I went on, I have 6 pints of chili that I pressure canned, and I had to go shut it off. I was right on the line. So you keep going with things. And even I've had headaches, but I just plow through. We plow through. We do what we can, right? All right. Thank you for coming. And thank you, everybody, for donating, because it does help. And I say it every show, and it's hard to do it. It was hard to do it and feel like I had to, but it goes to the show. And, yeah. What, Melanie? Oh, wait. Before cars were using gasoline byproduct from oil production was burned to produce electricity. Larry, I do hope we could do anything to help climate change. I just want to see some progress. I don't know. I still have to try. Yeah, well, hey, I got a 32-year-old daughter, and you know what? I see the future for her when she is my age. If she makes it to my age with the clusterfuck world we live in, it doesn't look pretty, and it's not, I can't do much, but if I do anything, any little thing like what I do here or anything can make a difference, you know. Yeah, climate hopelessness causes mental and physical depression. It sure does. That's why the kids are saying they don't want to have kids. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, guys. Well, I love you all, and I want to say thank you very much for coming. I hope this was an informative show. I hope that I was able to be as objective as I tried to be without too much, but because when I first started, I was angry, and all I wanted to do was mother F everybody. And you know what? And I realized it's not so simplistic. And thank you, Hunter. Thank you. Cheers to all of you. All right. Peace out. And listen, I'm supposed to have Dar Jamel on Wednesday night. I haven't heard from him. And I have this weird feeling he might dump me. And if he does, he does. Because he's doing a project with Abby Martin. So he may feel now that after 4 years, he might not come back with me. I don't know. We'll see. You'll all know. I hope so, because I'd like to hear about the project with Abby Martin. All right, guys. Peace out. Thank you. Love you. See you Wednesday.